It says we're live, Ryan. And then I'm going to hit go live on TikTok. That's a really bad spot for our camera. Hello, if you're joining live. I already see some people. We're doing last minute camera stuff. So bear with us for 1 second. But you could also start typing your questions in.
Good morning, everyone. It is 10 o'clock here in Washington, and we're going to answer your questions about the build today. I think we're going to go on TikTok too.
We are on TikTok actually.
Oh.
So if you're joining on TikTok, tell us where you're watching from. And I think we're good.
Okay. Well, Sarah, you had some questions that people wrote in.
Yes. So the first one was somebody asked how close we are to our inspection. And if you don't know, we're trying to get to what is called the combo inspection, and they're going to check our framing, our mechanical, our plumbing. And I feel like I'm missing one thing in there. Is there 4 things?
No, just 3.
Okay.
I think sometimes it's called like a 3-way.
So we are actually getting super close to calling for that inspection.
Yeah, we finally got over our initial plan was to do we have the drain line all dry fit out, and then we were gonna work with a plumber to kind of help us get the system all glued and finalized. And we called a few plumbers, and it kind of just seems like nobody's interested in doing work on a system that they didn't do start to finish.
Yeah, so because we had everything, if you've watched our videos, we had our drain line all dry fit. And we know we're not supposed to do that, but we've never designed a whole house plumbing system. So it was the easiest way for us to be able to do it without doing it on paper. So it's all set and now it needs to be glued. And since we did it as a dry fit first, we're having to readjust some pieces.
Yeah,
longer.
Because when you dry fit, you don't get the full depth of the bell in. So every fitting that we have, there's probably like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch that once we get it glued, it's all lubricated and it goes in all the way. So since we dry fitted the whole thing, those fittings all compound on one another, and pretty soon we're like 6 inches short.
Mm-hmm. So we're in the process of doing that. Actually, right now, we just started it last week, and it's going fairly well. We had one rough day.
It's the Wonder Mom.
I saw that. And then we've got a lot of people watching on YouTube telling us where they're watching from. Thank you so much. And you guys, the more interactive you are on this, the more fun it is and the more questions we get to answer. Because a lot of people want to ask questions about this house build process and about taking a piece of land and developing it from raw to where you're ready to build. So ask us anything and we'll answer away. And we're also over on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, ask too, because Ryan's watching on his phone and can see your questions coming in, and we'll be sure to answer those. And we have 300 viewers. Whoa, 290 on TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. And it says we've got 35 happening. So
did you try adding a coupling and adding some pipe? Yeah, there are some sections that we're going to have to add couplings to. Since we're just taking everything from dry fit, in some cases it's easier just to cut a new piece that's a 1/2 inch longer and then just using that other piece as scrap for another piece inevitably that we're going to have to cut a new piece for. So, yeah. But there's a piece that we're working on right now that's going to our laundry that was probably like a 6 or 8 foot run, and we needed an extra inch on it. So instead of cutting a whole new stick for that one, we might just put a coupling in for that one.
Yeah. And there's going to be some waste of product the way we did it, which is not something we want to do because we're trying to be as cost effective as possible, but it's also just part of the process. And it's still going to be cheaper than buying a brand new house in the end. So
somebody on TikTok asked, how much did you have to get started?
Probably money wise, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We've talked about our cabin kit in the past, and it was just about over $100,000 for the materials. And then we had already owned the land for a number of years before we decided to move forward on the cabin.
We've owned our land for, I think, 11 years now. And we bought it for, I don't like to tell the price because they're so different now. We bought it for $55,000 with no electricity, no plumbing, no nothing. And it was 5 acres with a very little view of the Hood Canal, which we've gotten to be a little bit more.
So it would probably
So-
be 80 to 100,000
Yeah.
today.
I think we might have to turn
Yeah, I know. We're getting
this
so
so you're
much.
not, and then we might just have to
I know,
move
but
our little seat.
Can we just have our window as our background?
I
though?
know.
Why don't we just?
Oh, we're thinking about background here. If you can't see Ryan
don't
and
know.
it's bothering you, you put it in the comments and we'll fix it. But otherwise,
Um,
and then, oh, I was going to say, we've got a comment on YouTube too.
like such a. I guess it's catching you.
So on YouTube, somebody asked, are we living in our build right now? And we are not living in this house right now. We are actually living in a yurt, a 30-foot yurt, and a camper trailer.
Yep.
I think our camper trailer is like 35 feet. So, and we have 2 kids who are 11. They're going to turn 12 in 2 weeks. So we have twins, and it's a little bit of a tight fit, but gosh, the yurt helps so much.
Thank you for all the hearts on TikTok.
Yeah, our TikTok audience. We've got so many audience happening.
Somebody on TikTok asked us when we're hoping to move in. So we need to pass our combo inspection first, and then we can start getting the insulation and the shiplap up, and then we'll start to be able to get the kids' rooms all finished, flooring, and so that our thought right now is that we're going to get the kids moved in first, and then if we have to, Sarah and I might live in the yurt for a little while until we get our bedroom completed, which is going to be the loft area.
Yeah, because we don't want to move in anything before flooring's actually in, or else it's going to be a huge issue of moving furniture and appliances, trying to get the flooring in.
So ideally, we're crossing our fingers to be all kind of moved in by the end of fall. We won't be completely done with the house. I'm sure we'll still have some interior finish work to do and flooring, but if we have the bedrooms done and at least one bathroom done, I think we'll probably end up moving in here.
Well, and I think we have to have, for our certificate of occupancy, we also have to have a working kitchen, but it's not what you think it is. It's basically that I believe you need a stove, and it needs to be able to exhaust, and you don't even have to have your counters finished on that. So
I wish this was over here so we didn't have to look at 2 different
places.
places.
I can try to get it right behind us and see.
Kaylin asked, is it possible to build your own house if you know absolutely nothing? I think so. You just have to, I know,
they're going on a journey.
You just have to be willing to learn, and you just have to be willing to learn and research. I spend a lot of my time researching and learning new skills, and so and I don't think we had any huge background of skills before we started this. So really, yeah, if you're willing to do the research and just kind of learn a lot about each step, then I think it's possible to do it without having a lot of background.
And especially if you're doing it where you're buying land first, and you get to take that time to learn some much smaller projects, because we were able to build our shed first and build a covered structure for the old fifth wheel that was here, and just kind of learn a few things before we went all in. Ryan's trying to make it perfect for every viewer, and we're a little flustered.
We had another comment, ETA to move in. We just answered a bit ago, but we won't be completely finished, but we'll be hoping that we're moving in the end of fall.
Yeah.
We just have to get past our combo, and then we can really start closing up some of these walls and getting insulation in and making it look like a house.
And I'll be 100% honest. The whole, when people ask, when do you expect to move in? We expected this to take us a year, and we're 2 years in. So it's so hard to tell you guys.
Sky Legacy said that they paid $65,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 18 acres, and house was built in 2011. Yeah, real estate prices vary vastly across the country. I bet you dollars to donuts that was not in Washington State.
Yeah. and Ryan is actually a real estate agent in Washington. And it's funny when we do get comments about oh, I bought a house for blah, blah, blah. And then you ask, when did you buy it? Where is it located?
Yeah.
And and we're also in kind of a touristy spot, and we have a beautiful view. So those things are going to make prices be a little bit more.
And this is totally unrelated, but in talking about being a real estate agent, we actually had one of our viewers reach out and I helped them find their land just about 45 minutes south of here. They were able to pick up 16 acres of land for just over $200,000, which amazing view. Lots of property. I'm so excited to watch their build and follow the progress. So if anybody else is looking to off grid or looking for land in Washington State up here, happy to help if you guys need any help finding land.
Good little
Little
injection
plug.
there.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
worked out perfectly. Somebody, let's see, we have a lot of questions on YouTube, so I might go through those.
Okay.
One was, let's see, do you have heat in your build? We do. We now have our wood-fired stove. We had that in last year, actually, and that helps a lot. And then we have 4 electric wall heaters all installed, and we get them all running, but we're not fully insulated yet.
Yeah.
So once we're fully insulated, it'll be awesome. But we plan to be fully insulated by this summer, and we will have an air conditioner.
Yeah.
So we're going to
actually
be
putting in mini splits,
Mhm.
and we're super excited for those. The wall heaters, we're hoping that we don't have to use hardly at all, except for maybe the depths of the winter. Because between having the stove and the mini splits, it should keep it nice and toasty in here without having to use those electric wall heaters.
Yeah. And then somebody asked, are you guys, Die Wonder Mom said, are you guys affected by the raising prices of building material? Definitely materials. We just went to go buy some ABS, and it's like you buy what feels like 5 things and you spend
$165.
Yeah. We also got pellets.
Yeah, that's true.
We did get pellets for heating the yurt and that. But no, it's crazy. Plumbing has been the most expensive thing. A
We didn't
lot
account for it.
came with our kit.
Yeah.
And we were really fortunate because it's just kind of buying things for like the last piece of wood we needed for blocking. Felt like it just costs way too much for what you're getting.
Yeah, we
But
really lucked out that we were able to secure the prices that we did on our materials for the house back in
2019.
2019.
Way back then. And then somebody said, what kind of flooring are we going to use? I believe, are we going to do real wood or is it a wood laminate flooring?
For flooring, I think we're probably going to do an engineered
tongue and groove.
tug and groove. But we have been looking at tile, wood look tile too. So I haven't completely ruled that out, but the ease of installation of the tongue and groove engineered stuff is so nice. And we had some of that product in our previous house, and it had kind of the hand scraped look to it. So it had kind of the wavies, and it held up really good.
Yeah.
So we'll probably just end up doing something similar to that this time.
And that's going to be so much easier for us to learn how to install. We might do tile in our bathrooms just for water, but you start weighing this whole, like, we want this, but this includes learning a whole new skill. And do we have the time to learn that? So
somebody asked, what's with the wall insulation? It looks substandard. So what you see on the outside here, this blue, is a 3/4 inch solid foam. And then behind that, there is an 1.5 inch foil backed piece of foam. So there's 2.5.
Yeah. And then behind that,
2.5. And behind that, there's 4 inches of solid wood. That is the wood that you see on the outside of the house.
so, because if you didn't know, the person who asked that, we have a log cabin kit home. So there's engineered logs as the outside wall.
Yeah. So there's just not room enough to put like a traditional fiberglass batting. You need something that's more dense to give us a higher R value in a smaller space. And so we had to go with this rigid foam that came with our cabin kit package.
And then somebody asked, do we use wood from our land for heat? We plan to. We did not do that first when we got here.
Yeah.
Since we weren't living here and since we had never had a wood-fired stove before, we weren't really sure how much lumber we'd have and the whole drying process. So we're learning all that as we go. We did buy some lumber last year.
Some firewood.
And we definitely have some trees we want to take down. We were just looking at some and we were kind of like, we should do that.
Yeah. So kind of step number 1 is we need to build some shelters that we can house and dry our wood in. And we'll probably cut down some trees and split it and stack it.
Get our insulation done,
and then we
could
that.
move it, and then we could use that structure.
Exactly.
So it is kind of a whole balancing act of the build and supplying ourselves with the resources we need on our own. But it'd be super awesome if we didn't have to pay for lumber or wood, because we have so much.
Somebody said that's a steep roof line. You up north, heavy snow. We're in the Olympic Peninsula up in Washington at kind of the base of a mountain. So we get a fair amount of snow, but to be honest, we just really kind of like the aesthetics of the steep roof line and the big grand room that we're in here with the cathedral ceilings. So that was the main point, but it certainly helps with shedding of heavy snow when we get it.
But we also do not have a metal roof, so it takes a little while.
Somebody asked what our 9-to-5s are.
That's always a top question.
Yeah.
So I have an online education course all about helping people be alcohol free. And that is my main job. I also used to run a multi-level marketing company, and I get a small income from that still. Before that, I was a teacher. I was a full-time music teacher in the public schools, but we can't really have traditional jobs to get this done. But we are definitely, it's one of the things why it's taking a little bit longer. We have to
balance,
bring in an income, and we have to build a house.
And unfortunately, YouTube doesn't quite pay our bills yet.
Yeah,
we make a little bit of money.
It does bring in an income as well.
And then I help Sarah in the tech side of her business, and then I'm also a realtor in Washington, and then I do some other miscellaneous influencer activities. I manage all of our influencer and sponsorship opportunities that come from this channel, and I actually have some videos on Amazon that we make a little money on.
Yeah, that's like a brand new thing.
Yeah,
so
it's going pretty good.
And Ryan's always been the person who he has not had a normal 9-to-5 job since I've known him. And I feel like people were always like, what does your boyfriend do? What does your husband do? And I was like, I don't know.
Weird stuff.
He sits at a computer and he makes money. But now I'm kind of in that space. Glinda said she's a certified pure specialist. So that's cool, Glinda. It's really been cool, the crossover on the build, people being like, oh, I don't drink either. And so.
We had somebody say that they have a house that's paid off, so just building equity for a little, want to buy land out west. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. We have a house in Oregon that we're renting out long term, but we're planning on selling that house, paying off that mortgage, and then having this house and property built mortgage free. And that's one of the dreams. One of the reasons why we're putting so much work into this house is so that we can kind of live a simpler, like less more debt-free life. I don't know. A debt-free life. So kind of just taking, I mean, we went from our house in Oregon was 2,400 square feet. So it was much bigger than the house we're building here, but we kind of found out that we didn't use a lot of that space.
Yeah. There was like a few rooms in it that didn't really get touched. Do you have any questions there? Because
No, go ahead.
Let's see. Do you have wood from, we've got that one. Well, I know somebody on Instagram, Brad asked, I can't remember his Instagram handle, but Brad asked, what's our plan for outbuildings once we're done with this? And are we already looking at plans, and kind of how fast will that happen?
I've preliminarily looked at some shells, metal buildings, pole barns, but I haven't even talked to any sales representatives or started looking seriously. I think we're looking at maybe like a 20 by 30 shop with a couple of garage bay doors. But again, that could all change. Mm-hmm. We're thinking maybe finish an area up in the loft area so we can have like an extra little mother-in-law quarters up there.
Yep. And then that's kind of,
because we are permitted for 3 bedrooms on our septic system. And so we could still connect a bathroom to an accessory dwelling unit in our shop if we wanted to.
Especially because this house is now considered only a 2-bedroom because we didn't put a closet in the loft. So there's all those little things you can work around. But definitely we'll have an outbuilding. We wish we had one now. And it's a little overwhelming because when we get done with the house build, we're going to be exhausted. And the last thing we want to think about is an outbuilding. And it's going to require clearing some land and to get it in the spot where we want it.
Yeah.
Nothing we don't know how to do.
I've heard other people say that the house looks like a Sears. I haven't seen them, but this kind of logs cabin style, like stack engineered logs, and So yeah, it's kind of built like a big Lego kit.
And somebody posted about the Sears kit and they said, and then all of their friends and family would come and help the family put the house together. And I thought, where are our friends and family helping with this?
I mean, honestly, putting the outside structure together was kind of the most fun part.
It really was. The outside, and that flew together, and we did have friends and family help us, so I shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and I was like, what? The whole neighborhood helped?
The R factor on the 3/4 inch I'm looking right now is 3.8, and that one doesn't go up. But I think the 2.5 is like 15. So I guess that brings us to like R20. I don't know. It all went through planning, and they all looked at the R value in the walls and approved it. So I'm not too concerned about it.
Oh, somebody said latest craze on YouTube is DIY concrete pours. Will you be doing one like when we do our outbuilding?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe.
Looks scary.
Maybe. We're not. I mean, we're going to call a truck in.
I know, but that seems when you bring in somebody who knows what they're doing, and then we're like, hi.
But I mean, you still have to like do the site prep for all of your piping underground and electrical and stuff before a pour happens. So I don't know. It's so far out in the future right now. It's like it hurts my brain to think about it.
We're gonna pour our pad for our propane tank.
Yeah, that's gonna
be
be
our
trial. Let's see. Windows look beautiful. Did you do all those or work with someone in ordering? Well, it would. I don't know if you can see the windows. You can see kind of that's actually better.
Maybe that's where we need to sit. Get the view behind us.
Here, I'll just scooch.
We'll just move.
Scooch.
Gotta move you, TikTok. I'm sorry.
Scooch your thing.
I'm so sorry, TikTok.
The windows were the windows that came with the package, and yeah, we love the windows. They're our favorite part of the house.
Yeah, for sure. It just doesn't know what to focus on.
I know. It makes it all
Can't decide
all
if it wants to focus on the windows or you.
Yeah. Anything on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody said, thank you so much for sharing your build. Much appreciated. Your teamwork is admirable. Would you be so kind to give my wife a shout out? It's Teresa in Kansas City. So we can say,
shout out to you, Teresa.
Shout out to Teresa. Thank you for watching, you guys.
We're not in Oregon. We're in Washington State on the Olympic Peninsula in the forest.
We were in Oregon I was there for 19 years. Ryan was there for his life.
Kim,
now everybody can see our pajamas on TikTok.
Kim from Georgia says, does he have a friend for me? I'm looking to do this. I do have a brother. So
he's 35.
Yeah.
Ish. Single. And he's really handy.
Yep. I don't know if he wants to build a cabin.
I don't think he does want to build a cabin.
Maybe for the right girl.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we just got a gift badge.
I don't even know what that does.
I don't either, but thank you.
Somebody said, hello from UK. Love your house build. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh, hey, Woody's on. Illumination is so great. Thank you. Woody's a photographer.
Glowing.
I admire the project. It's unreal how much energy you have to put into this build. We don't always have energy, Woody, but what we found is
you fake it.
You get on the build and you just one of us is usually pumped and one of us usually isn't. So it's kind of like, and luckily it bounces back and forth between the both of us.
Yeah,
so we can
we
give
keep
and
each
take
other
our energy.
Motivated.
Because definitely on Tuesday I didn't want to build, and I just told Ryan I don't have it in me today, so you got to bring it. And then on Wednesday we were both pumped, and it's just kind of a give and take. Do you have one? Go for it.
Do you cover how to determine which land has best homesteading potential? We actually filmed a YouTube video. Well, like one of the first videos we did on our channel was about how mistakes we made or what to look for when buying land. We probably are due to do an updated version on that based on what we've learned. So you could go back in our YouTube channel and check and look for that video.
And I think it's pro tips. I think it's in a certain playlist. So if you look at our playlists, you'll find it really easy on YouTube. And then Di asked, are you having window coverings? And if so, are you planning for the big windows? Yes, because the sun does rise right through these windows.
I was going to wire up all the windows with low voltage 12 volts so we could have motorized blinds going to them. But then I looked and saw that they make battery powered blinds now. And with the power of lithium batteries and everything, I'm kind of thinking maybe it's irrelevant to add power there when we can just use battery powered ones.
Yeah, but we're definitely thinking blinds in these windows. The ones that have the triangle, if you look at watch our video of us installing, there's 2 on the outside that go up and then go in. We're not sure what those are going to look like. So all the windows may not have a window covering, but definitely the rectangular ones will, because
we need to block out. Yeah.
We know once we're living in here, we'll still love the windows, but some days.
Somebody, Housing asked,
Surge, probably.
Said, what was your house a kit? Yep, we bought it from Conestoga Log Cabins in Pennsylvania, and they shipped it out here on 2 big flatbed trailers, and we've been working on it for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's a little bit insane.
Totally
And
insane.
Woody asked if the build is livable yet. It's not livable yet. We're getting super close. We're almost done with plumbing. So, and then somebody asked, do the kids help with the build? They are at school when we're building most of the time. And then last summer, it was just like, it's really hard to get the kids in there because they don't know what they're doing, obviously. So it has to be a teaching moment. But we are having them build a new house for new animals that they really want. And we told them we can't get that animal until you build a house for it. So they're building a little home right now that will feature in a few of our.
Right now, their motivation's high. We'll see how.
They rocked it yesterday. I was super proud of them because they had to build the foundation portion of it. So
yeah.
But
keep it a secret.
You can guess what animals we're getting.
The Wonder Mom said, "Oh, come on, Ryan, you should have the old.
Old
can you
pull cord.
imagine how long those pull cords would be for these upper level ones?
It would have to be like a pole, like we have for the yurt dome, to like grab it.
It'd be ridiculous.
But we do wish our kids wanted to help more. But I mean, when we started the yurt build, they were 9, and then they did quite a bit on the log walls. So I think it's depends on how repetitive. I was thinking when we do shiplap that they should get in here and help.
Somebody asked how we're finishing the outside of the windows. There's like a 1x10 and 1x12, just kind of wood siding that's going out there. We're still not completely sold if that's how we're going to leave it like forever. Keep playing around with having like a rock face front on the house. Yeah. I kind of like the idea of that, but I think we're going to get it like livable first and see how much energy we have after we're done, and then decide if we want to like take on upgrades.
Yeah. We have a lot of people tell us that it drives them crazy that the outside isn't done yet. And I'm like, well, it doesn't need to be done for you to live in it. So you have to prioritize.
Yep. Somebody asked where we got our building plans. We ordered our cabin from Conestoga Log Cabins in Pennsylvania, and they have a full range of plans you can pick from.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading other questions while you said that, but you were talking about Conestoga. Let's see. What do we do for an income? I have an online education course all about helping people quit drinking. And then I also have an old multi-level marketing business that I was a part of, and I still make an income on that. And Ryan is a real estate agent. So we both have very unique jobs that we can fit in when we can.
When did you lose the caravan?
I was going to ask, that was Di. What's the caravan? You'll have to tell us what that is.
Yeah. I don't know.
She's from Australia. I know that. So maybe that means something different. And somebody's watching from Copenhagen, Denmark. And Woody said, okay, so big house party opening. You know it. Oh, totally. I like that you're like, I'm inviting myself. I'm inviting the No More Wasted Days people. So don't worry, you're invited. There's like a whole, that's one thing that motivates me a lot is planning this huge housewarming party that we'll have one day. What are you looking at?
Oh, I was seeing if they can make it like full screen or something.
All right. The house a kit? Where did you get your build plans? That's kind of the same, all from Conestoga Log Cabins. We thought they'd come with instructions that are like, step 1, build the foundation. And that's not what happens. They handed us
just got to learn how to read plans.
And we both looked at building plans. I looked at Ryan. I said, do you know how to read building plans? And he was like, nope.
Kind of. We'll learn.
I just thought there'd be more words on them. Yeah. It's just like, all right, ask those questions away ask, and then we'll answer them for you. We'll take a quick coffee break. Oh, what would you do differently on the build? And that's something that somebody else asked too, because that was the one that was in my back pocket. So what will we do differently on the build? First, I think we wish we would have done an outbuilding before we moved. We built a shed and we thought that was good enough.
It was enough for tools, but it would have been really nice to have a place for materials.
And even like our I want to call them appliances, our tractors, and our mowers and all that, like the big stuff. It's just kind of out there, and trying to find it and make sure it's safe is a little overwhelming, and all of our lumber. So that we would do differently. And definitely, we didn't realize we had so much that we could ask Conestoga to change things in the plans. And now that we live here, we realize the view is amazing up from the top. So we kept half of the top open, but we couldn't keep the other half open because there's a bathroom there. And we're not skilled enough to change all that plumbing. So we kept it the same. And we could have asked them to help us through that. They probably could have shifted even a downstairs bedroom in the plans and stuff so we wish we would have kind of known that we had a little more freedom in the plans.
Yeah.
I think that's it on what would we change. There's nothing really else. I mean,
yeah, not that I can think of so far.
If we ever build another structure again, I have told Ryan that I don't want to be a part of the rough-in part. I've hated it. Not hated it. That's harsh, but it has not been, it's just it's really intense.
You know, the other thing we could have done is we waited to build our covered porches until after we had the decks installed. And I think maybe it would have been nice. We could have just got those built before the deck was there, and just had the posts go all the way down to the
ground,
the foundations.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then we wouldn't have had to. We had to cut back a piece of our roof because we did it after the roof was completely done, which made it just a little bit extra work.
And I guess knowing too where all of your plumbing is going to vent out, so you can get all those holes put in the roof before the roof is completed, would be another nice thing. But
let's see, the box on the wheels you use when you go camping, you were going to give it to your special friend.
Our camper for Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron gets it when we're done living it, but we are still living in our camper because it is our kitchen.
Duncan, David,
Cameron, David. We're gonna call him Duncan and David now. So we still live in our camper right now, and it's working.
Yeah, but soon.
I feel like that's coming soon. I keep telling Cameron, you're going to be pulling this off of our land pretty soon. Somebody asked, are we getting solar? We do plan to have some sort of solar grid tie system, but that may look even smaller than we were imagining in the beginning. We may just have it so we have solar battery backup at our pump house for our well, because when we lose power, it'd be really nice to have something just kick on and keep that well going.
Yeah, we're looking to do a generator interlock kit because our main service panel is about 300 feet away from where the cabin site is, and that is where our well pump is too. So if we just supplied the house with a backup, then we wouldn't have any power for our water, which means that we wouldn't have any water pressure. So that would suck. So we're looking at doing a backup interlock down at the main panel, which then would be able to power the whole house. And then maybe we'll add some solar panels into that just to keep the solar batteries, the batteries topped up. But we're not looking for permanent solutions. We're looking for maybe to keep us going for 1 or 2 days. And then if needed, we can always use a gas generator to recharge the batteries if we want to.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're looking at now. For forever, we were we're going to have a whole grid tie system. We'll probably be mostly run on solar. And as you do more research and find out how many batteries you need, how many solar panels you need to really run a house, that's a little
Yeah. But if you do a grid tied system, you don't need the batteries, but it also doesn't help you in a blackout.
Yeah.
So somebody on TikTok said that her and her husband are going to move into a camper and build a small house, estimated 2 years. It's a good timeline. I had 2.5 years.
If they're doing their, did they ask how long they should estimate?
No, they said estimated 2 years. So that's great. It's definitely an experience that we won't forget.
Yeah.
And there's times where it's so super fun, and then there's times where it's so super frustrating.
Yeah.
So.
People say there's no crying allowed on a build, but there's crying happening on our build every now and then because it's a little overwhelming.
And not going to borrow money. Good. Yeah. If you can do it in cash, that's what we're trying to do. And at the end of it, hopefully not have any mortgage.
Somebody asked where the hot tub is going. It's going to go on our, I think on our deck.
There's a little spot right off this corner of our deck that has a pretty nice little view. And we're thinking about maybe dropping down to like a little bit of a lower deck and then having the hot tub be like flush set in there.
That, which is what we wanted at our old house. And we had a builder doing it. And he was like, oh, you're going to have to add this and this. And then we were like, oh, okay, never mind.
So instead we got a little gazebo.
Yeah. And that worked. But we did find that walking down the stairs to the hot tub deters. We actually have an inflatable hot tub right now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. Like we bought it on a whim and we enjoy it.
We need to get it back going.
Yes. That should be on our agenda today.
What were the foundation steps? We had somebody pour the foundation for us. That felt like it was too important to DIY. And so we hired a company to do the foundation, make sure it was perfectly straight, perfectly level, perfectly square. And they did a great job on it. We did add an extra foot of foundation space. For one, it got our house elevated up a little bit higher so that we got a little bit extra view. And also it made it so much easier working under the house when we're doing all this plumbing and electrical work. And I think it's kind of, I don't think you should be able to build houses with 24-inch crawl spaces. It seems ridiculous to have to work in that space if you're doing much work down there. So
yeah, that would be, we'd have to be crawling on our backs.
I think a lot of people that do those have the plumbing and stuff ran before a floor is down.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what our neighbor did because he has a slab. We have a neighbor building right below us and he had all of his plumbing done beforehand, then the slab pour. So
somebody asked if it was financed or cash. A little bit of both. We pulled some equity out of our house that we have in Oregon that we have on a HELOC. So we were able to access some of that equity and that cash and help with the down payment on the cabin. But other than that, everything else we've bought with cash.
Slowly as we can. Somebody said they're watching from Oregon. And the town is spelled SCIO. How have you always said that when you've seen it? I've said it SCIO.
I don't know. I don't think I've
Tell us if you got it right, because they said that it would be laughable for us to say it. Skio or SCIO, but I'm probably wrong. We did live in Oregon for a long time, so. Finance or cash, that was that one. Okay. I think we're out of questions, you guys. You have no other questions for us.
We did. Somebody asked when are they going to get new videos, and there'll be another new video next Sunday. I was working on the edit, and we haven't done a live for a while, so we figured we'd kind of break things up this week, do a live, and then we'll return to your regularly scheduled programming.
If you guys did not know, Ryan is our editor. Our only editor. Some people hire out to editors and it's something we could do with our footage, but that's like a whole thing too. But he does it all. I do most of the camera work when we're building just because he's doing most of the building. So
and all of our social media.
Yeah. And I do all of our social media stuff. And then it's just kind of like, it can get the documenting on YouTube gets a little overwhelming. We love it. And it definitely drives our build forward for us. It keeps us motivated because we need content all the time. But every now and then the live is a nice thing to come in and do. And it's really fun to actually chat with you guys in real time because. Yeah.
And get like real time questions.
And we have people that have commented since we were building a yurt. So it's really cool. Somebody said, I have a home along the Hood Canal over 10 years, beautiful area, and now live in Western Montana in the mountains. We had orcas in the Hood Canal yesterday, Buffalo House. We got to go see them right at the bottom of our hill.
Right at the bottom of our road.
And then somebody said, I've been watching your vids the last month, subscribed, thank you. But started watching your vids when you did your time lapse. Been amazing. I recognize your handle. Been amazing watching your work in progress. So now I watch 2 to 3 videos a night so I can get all caught up.
Nice.
Yay. Thank you. Sio was pronounced correctly by Sarah.
Nice.
I figured that was it. I don't think I've ever heard it on the news or anything. Guys, please be kind to yourself. You can't do everything all at once. Take time for your kids too. Yeah, that's the thing too. Sometimes we have people make comments of like, this is taking you a long time. And I'm like, we have kids, we have jobs, we have,
We're trying to not be the worst parents in the world.
we're not. Hey, my dad just joined. Hi from mom and dad. I kept wondering. I was like, where are they? I told them we were going to do this.
Let's see. We had G-Way on TikTok said, I'm really in awe of you guys. Thank you so much. It's been a really exciting adventure.
It has been, and it's been cool to share it like this. Somebody said, what kind of building aspects were you surprised didn't need a permit? I work for the county I live in and process permits. I feel like everything's kind of needed. Our yurt did not need to be permitted because we kept the platform under 30 inches. We called them before we did it. And we were kind of like, what
are the rules?
How can we build this structure and not have to permit it, basically? Because we can only have within our land bylaws, our road association, it does say something about one livable structure. So we were like, oh, we don't want to get dinged later on. And they were like, oh, you don't have to permit it if it's this level.
Yep.
So that was kind of surprising. But otherwise, everything else, I feel like it's been.
We were kind of surprised that that there weren't more inspection steps. Like by the time we got our underfloor and had our subfloor on, like the next inspection wasn't until like our roof was totally on, and like it was, they were like, we'll see you when the roof is done. We were like, whoa.
Like until the combo is.
Yeah, really.
So we haven't even had a real inspection.
Yeah, we've had to do a couple of progress inspections because in our county, our permits expire 6 months after your last inspection. So we've had to just kind of call the inspectors in to have them kind of go over what we've been working on, just so our permit automatically renews. And we don't have an expired permit.
Somebody said we should put a video out of all of our bloopers.
Yeah, so, we did that for a while.
We used to if we have a really funny one, we put them at the very end, but sometimes I don't feel like there's a ton of funny stuff left out.
Yeah.
There might be swearing that gets left out because somebody did ask if we ever swear. And I'm like, we do, but we leave it out.
Mother Truckin' Life asked if we were renting out the Oregon house. Yeah, for a while we were Airbnb-ing it. And we did that for about a year. And then we found long-term renters that were renting it for about a year. And then at least right now, our current plan is that we're going to probably sell the house in July or August after their lease is up.
Yeah. So that will be another thing that momentarily interferes with the build.
Yeah.
But it needs to happen at this point.
What did the foundation work cost? God, I can't even remember.
I think it was right around 10,000, but then we added
the extra fee. Yeah, I think it was maybe between 10 and 12,000 for the foundation. And that was a 36-inch. They did a monolithic pour, I think it's called, where they poured the footer and the stem walls all in a single pour, which is kind of cool. Most of the time they pour the footer and then they let that set, and then they come down and reset their forms to form the footer. So I don't know how common monolithic pours are now. Maybe that's just kind of how everything's going to, but that I know that made it a lot less expensive compared to a lot of the other contractors we were bidding, because they have to come out and schedule two rounds of trucks to come out. They have to come out and change the forms over twice. So I feel like we got a pretty good deal on our foundation.
The guys that came out and built the forms were
amazing.
2 guys. They built the forms up in 2 days,
and it pouring
dumped rain on them one day. And we were just like, oh my God, I brought them donuts. It was like the most I can do at this point. It was insane watching them go.
Very little codes in Georgia.
And then
Larry has given us an excuse. Why
oh yeah, they forgot to check your watch. Jeez.
Ours expired 1 year after being issued, but as long as you do inspections. Yep. That sounds like us.
Somebody said, are you getting air conditioned in preparation for summer? We are. We're going to put up a mini split system. We're super stoked because this is going to be work. We already told Cameron, if you come help us on the build this summer, we're gonna be working in comfort.
We brought in a little air conditioner last year that just, it helped a little. But,
and then we moved it into the yurt.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh my God, the yurt gets so hot.
David asked when we're hoping to finish and move in. By like the end of the fall, we'll probably have the kids at least moved in, and then still be finishing up some of like the kitchen and bathroom areas. We'll probably end up having subfloor for a while out in the main living area
for a little while.
But we might paint it just to make it look a little nicer.
We'll see. It's hard because you discuss what you're going to do, and then it comes along and things just change how they need to change as you're going. And then somebody asked, do we have to get separate permits for all of our trades? Not really. They're going to check our mechanical and our plumbing in the next one, and that will cover our ERV system. We didn't have HVAC because we have our stove, and mini splits is how we're heating. And then the plumbing, the county's going to check.
The county,
our electrical was checked by
Washington L&I, and then our septic system, which we built a while ago, was permitted by environmental health. But as far as what we've had to work with, we've been really lucky. We've had to work with the county and L&I, which does electrical, and both of those sets of inspectors have been really good to work with. They've been very friendly to kind of do DIYers and to people doing self builds, which is one of the things we were kind of concerned about, is like, are they going to be like mad that we don't know everything when they come in? That
has actually been one of the things I've been the most surprised about, is how helpful our building permit office has been. And I don't know if it's that we're part of a more rural county, or if it's just been very surprising, and we are so thankful. Like, every inspector that's come out has been very kind, and then when we call them to ask questions, they're always super helpful. Somebody said they love my singing in the videos. It must be all my little ditties, all my little
Sarah's
songs.
Originals. Mother Truckin' Life asked how many contractors we got estimates from. I believe when we were getting our foundation poured, I got estimates from probably 3 to 4 contractors before we moved forward.
For the foundation?
For the foundation, yeah.
Yeah, I know you always call for quite a few quotes when we do stuff. Somebody said they were a 4-way inspector in Washington for 8 years, and let them know if we have any questions.
We might take you up on that.
Yeah. We'll be replying within this chat thread to you, because I can't think of anything right off the bat. We've got a lot of people hopping on, just saying hi and thank you for the weekly videos. What's been the hardest part of the build?
Endurance.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize when houses are being built by general contractors and in teams, like sometimes they're built in 30 days, but you're having so many different crews come in that specialize in a certain area. And when you're 2 people trying to do it part-time in between trying to run a YouTube channel and do other jobs, it takes a long time. And it's really easy when you first have all that excitement and adrenaline when the kit gets here and you're building floors and outside walls and roof going on. And when you get in the weeds of having to put in bathroom fans and put up walls and stairs and all those like nitty gritty little things, it's kind of difficult to keep the motivation high.
It's really hard to keep the motivation high during all the stuff that goes in the walls, all the rough end stuff, because it is not visually progressive. Whereas when we were doing the outside part, you saw it coming together, and it was really exciting. And every day you could go, oh my gosh, look what we did. And now you look and you're like, we worked all day long on electrical, and you'd be like, oh, look what we did. No one can even tell.
But I feel like we're going to get back to some of those things where big changes, when we're doing insulation, when we're doing shiplap, when we're putting in kitchen cabinets, like things are going to start, big changes are going to start happening after the combo goes through.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
just got to get to that race to combo. You could grab our race to combo
board,
and maybe that's like a good little prop to show off.
Get a prop.
We have our board that we basically need to get everything on here.
I don't know,
marked off until so we can call for our inspection, and we're getting real close.
And we found out we don't have to have our hot water heater done, which was one of the things we had on there. And our recirculating pumps. So that's off the list, which is awesome. So we only have 1 and 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 things left to do. One of them is really big, and then 2 of them are really small.
Yeah, so we're getting there. And we decided we were going to do a recirculating line on our hot water heater. which I was really pushing for. Sarah is on the fence. She doesn't know if she cares or not. She just doesn't like the environment, and I do. So
It is honestly because I'm like, oh my God, it's one more thing. That's kind of been my thing. I just want to get out of this rough end stage so bad. But it's also super important. If you don't have all the things you want inside your wall, it's a really big pain once you have a wall.
yeah. Somebody just said that they basically don't have any inspections or inspectors except for septic. And
which we've seen some YouTubers like that too, that are just like, we don't really have to have inspections where we are. So
one person that we follow, Wild Wonderful Off Grid, they didn't have any inspections at all or restrictions, but then they got to the point where they were trying to get insurance on the house, and insurance required them to have a certain foundation, like basically a stem wall. So they had to pour their foundation after the fact
because they had
pillars.
Yeah, I was trying to think what they were called.
So that's one thing to consider if you are doing something, especially someplace that doesn't have a lot of inspectors or inspections required. You might want to check with your insurance company to make sure they don't require something, because that could end up biting you in the butt.
And even like resale value type, you may think like, oh, we're going to live in this house forever and ever, and we're going to own it in our family. But at some point, it will leave your family's hands. So got to kind of think about those things.
Two are doing great on your timeline. My log home took 3 years. I'm guessing that until we're finished.
Yeah.
Finished, we'll probably be at 3 years.
And there might be a lot of projects that are just going to take a couple more days, a couple more hours, and they'll just be put off for just a little while. All those little teeny tiny things.
Hannah says, thank you for being so transparent with the building. I know it can be hard. We appreciate your support, sharing us on.
We've definitely felt like during this rough end portion of the build, we keep being like, oh my gosh, there's nothing cool happening in this build right now. But it is, you know what? It's
all the behind the scenes.
It is what it is.
Roy, you're always.
I always see Roy's comments.
Always commenting. We appreciate your feedback and support.
And Fred's name I recognize too. Always enjoy your videos. David asked thank you, my friends. And Wild Bumby Lee. I really like that name. For 2 people, you've done an excellent job. Thank you so much. And Glenda said the inside work is mentally harder. Yes, it's so much mentally harder.
Yeah, and even when we're outside and we're having to deal with those really exhausting hot days, I feel like sometimes that's easier to push through, just being hot and sweaty and gross, than having to like troubleshoot everything. Everything is like a puzzle when you're doing plumbing or electrical.
And I don't care for puzzles. And I didn't know that I was like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I'm just like, Ryan will say like, do you have an idea? And I'm like, no.
I haven't been paying attention.
I've been thinking about other things. Somebody did say, just join the Q&A. I just had one question. How does the heater work? Not the stove. Is that a full electric, or do you have a heat pump system built in? We don't have a heat pump system.
Well, mini splits are kind of like a mini heat pump.
Oh, okay.
So a traditional heat pump ties into your forced air system and uses that to distribute your cool air. So a mini split system has a single condenser, and then sometimes what they go up to the heads, or the area that blows the air out. And so sometimes they're referred to as ductless systems too, because there is no ducting in the house. It's a single area. So we're going to have actually 2 heads. One's going to be, the biggest one is going to be in the main great room area here where the kitchen is. And then we're going to have another one up in our bedroom. And that should be able to keep the entire house heated and cooled to whatever temperature we want it. And then in the winter, we'll probably try to heat the house as much as we can, at least this area down here, with the wood stove, just because we have so much lumber that we can use.
And even the loft stays super warm from the stove, just because heat rises. And
since we didn't finish off that wall, we'll get a lot of that air that circulates naturally.
Already it's starting to get warm in the loft. The other day sunny days, I was like, oh, it's warm in here. Have you had to rip anything out and start again? Yes. I can't think of anything major.
On one of our window framings, we framed it up wrong, and our rough opening dimensions weren't correct. So we had to tear some stuff out. And so that was just one window. So it wasn't too bad.
We have an issue on our deck supports, our roof supports. We did that incorrect in words.
We just need to add some blocking there. So
it is, a lot of things have been a lot easier to fix than we thought they would be. When you kind of go, oh no, as you start doing the research, you find out like, oh, you can just get this and add this. And
yeah,
but nothing, I don't think there's been anything too major, but what I will say is we really overthink everything before we do it.
We had the roofers put in the flashing for our stove, and we bought the wrong flashing. So there's two types of, I forget what this is called, Duravent flashing. And one of them is bigger and has a different type of, has an air gap and an insulator factor. And the other one is smaller and uses a different type of insulating factor. And we weren't familiar with the two different kinds. So we bought the wrong flashing. So when we went to put the exterior stack on here to connect to the box, it didn't fit because it was for the wrong type of pipe. So we had to tear out that flashing from underneath the roof shingles, go get the right flashing, put it in. So that's probably been the biggest tear out that we've had to do.
And it was pretty wild that they actually let us return it. They like gave us our money back.
Yeah, triple wall.
I think you sent me for that too. I was like, I don't want to do that. Somebody asked, are we tempted to plan in a secret or panic room? Not at this point. I kind of look at those more. I grew up in the Midwest where you had a storm shelter
but I mean, now
basement.
Like California is getting tornadoes and stuff. So it's crazy.
They start getting tornadoes here. I don't know where I'm moving to. That was one of the reasons I was like, nope. But no, I haven't really. That hasn't been a thought for us at this point.
And Kenny on TikTok said triple wall pipe. Correct. Yeah, that's what we were talking about for the stack.
Somebody said, "Good old Garden City, Kansas." Who is that that's watching? Who's my? You've got to know me. So, yep, good old Garden City, Kansas. You got to have a basement. Oh, Helen! Hey, Helen. Good to see you. We were on swim team together.
That's exciting. That is a nice system. Oh. I'm not sure what system. Maybe the mini split.
I joined the Q&A late. It's always nice to catch up. Just wondering if the kids will help with the build off camera. So we put them on camera every now and then. Helen said, and toured Europe. Sorry, I interrupted. Yep, she was part of my Europe tour. But the kids, we show them on camera here and there. I've told people we try not to show them very often, and
mostly when they're like doing stuff with the chickens.
Yeah, I'll show them.
The animals.
But they have been building a special little house
for potentially some new animals on the property.
Potentially new animal that they really want.
We're going to keep it a little secret though until we reveal it on the video.
But Ryan came up with a grand plan. Well, you guys can have this animal if you can build it a house. So they were out there yesterday building hard, and they had to run the chop saw. I mean, they're getting assistance from us and use the tape measure, drill. So they definitely are part of it. And when they're in there, I do film them a little bit, but
really
I just don't put them on a lot.
Fine behind the stove, as it's a fire hazard for sure.
We are actually all within clearance, and this will be finished for sure.
Yeah. I think we'll probably do some sort of maybe a rock, brick behind there.
I have a lot of pins on my Pinterest page. So and then it says, kids are cute. Yeah, they're pretty fun. Do you watch Ambition Strikes? We watch Ambition Strikes. We don't watch Todd and Tyler. Would you ever visit them? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we would love to do some collabs. There's another couple that is it Pine Ranch that are doing the container homes, and they're kind of close to us, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
It would be kind of fun to meet up and see their property. I really liked their build. They're doing some really cool stuff with those container homes.
They're doing their container home must be like 8 containers, and
it's stacked every which way.
It's going to be crazy. And have you seen Trent now? Oh yeah, we watched Trent Nally's full build from up until through their plumbing, and then that's about when we started our build. And life got a little intense.
I think watching Trent Nally and Wild Wonderful with Josh and
Aaron
are kind of what gave us the drive to be able to try this ourselves.
Yeah.
We were like, well, they seem like they don't know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it. So
yeah, we kind of knew
can't
we
do.
were going to do it. We were like, oh, let's do this. And then Ryan was like, and we could do it on YouTube. And that was definitely a motivator for me. I was like, okay, well, if I can be on camera, yeah. And it turns out I'm always behind the camera. But I was like, sure. And then we kind of found all these people who were like, oh my gosh, all these people are doing this. And it was really like, all right, well, if they're doing it, so can we.
Yeah.
And knowing, like, we watch some people where they both have no experience, some have a little experience, but it's
pretty amazing what you can learn. I mean, YouTube is such a great resource, not for entertainment and shows like ours, where you're just kind of watching us do a build. But when you're trying to like get into the nitty gritty of learning a trade or learning how to do stuff, I mean, there's like basically full education just right out there to learn anything you need to learn.
YouTube University.
That's what we call it.
People always say, like, how do you know it's YouTube? I mean, I go on YouTube for so many things. So somebody said a Bigfoot bear proof room. Yeah. I don't think we have to. Our bears are really afraid of us, which we like.
They're friendly bears.
Yeah, they're friendly. Well, not friendly. They just leave, which I've seen a few. And then Bigfoot, he wants to stay hidden. That is his main thing.
Should we tell them about the new wild addition to our build, to our property?
To our little bunny. We have another little bunny that has shown up and is potentially adopted us, or is trying to kick out our current bunny.
I don't know.
We don't know.
We have our little black bunny that's like, we think a domesticated bunny that has just found our property. He's not caged or anything. He just runs wild, but he is buns. And then a couple nights ago,
I came out of the yurt and an animal ran by and I was like, is it buns? Because it was like the right size. And I was like, that's a different bunny. So somebody must have a farm
now I think we
where
have
bunnies are leaving.
Maybe 2 bunnies. That's enough though. We can't have any more than 2
But
bunnies.
the problem is, if we have a boy-girl bunny, we're gonna have a lot more bunnies.
That'll be so cute for like a week.
They already, now with 2 of them, they looked at me yesterday. I was like, they're gonna take over. This isn't okay. Let's see. Somebody
Thanks for being on, Glenda.
How you guys doing? Jim Coleman asked. Pretty good. Maybe it's Bun's brother coming to visit. My mom said, maybe it's a bunny from wherever he came from saying it's time to go home. And Bun's is like, I'm free range here.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, it's crazy how much part of the country are still like snowed in. And like our home in Oregon, we just got a message from our renters just the other day that said that they, like, the school was canceled, and it was like, we're almost into early April.
Yeah, you make it mini buns. Yeah, that's a little bit what we're worried about. So maybe somebody will come looking for this new bunny. That's what I hope.
Maybe.
I'm checking all the different Facebook pages in our area because I am kind of like,
Jim said, I like these live videos. How you guys doing? We're good. Yeah. It's nice to kind of shift things up sometimes and do a little live, which is a little more informal, and we can like answer questions that people are asking and that we may have not thought about. Usually Fridays and Saturdays, we're like, I'm finishing up the video and then we're like rushing to publish and answer questions and everything. So it's a little nice to be able to do these every once in a while. It's a
different type of content for us. So Trent and Allie have been doing a lot of collaborations lately. We should reach out to them.
Yeah.
We're a very small channel compared to them. So, somebody said rabbit stew. No way. We actually don't eat meat. So, I don't eat meat and I'm the family cook. So
yeah,
I told everybody, I'm like, well, we'll probably just become some sort of rescue farm at some point because I just can't. I'm having a lot of fun with all the animals, but they make it so you can't really leave. But chickens, other fowl, you can leave for like a weekend, and the bunnies are living off the land. They're doing their own thing.
If you want to see a collaboration between Trent and Allie and us, you should go over to their page and comment and be like, hey, you guys should really do a collaboration with 1 Foot Off the Grid in Washington.
Yeah, because I'm sure they don't know who we are.
We have had Wild Wonderful. Aaron's commented on some of our videos, which is always super cool.
It's like a movie star is commenting on our stuff, which makes me, I'm like, just because we've watched their build for so long.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we winding down?
I was going to say, we've been on for an hour, which is pretty long. So let us know your last minute questions. Get them in now.
We'll take one more
because
sip of coffee.
We should figure out what we're going to do today because it looks like the rain is going to stop and we have some burning to do. We have an inflatable hot tub we need to get going
Mm.
again. So,
And a chipper to get started.
and laundry.
Boo.
And I've got some laundry to do. How far away is Utah from you guys? God, my parents would know. If they're still on, they would be like, I'm trying to think if we drove from Utah when I've done the drive from Iowa to Iowa to
I
Oregon.
would guess
12,
10 hours?
24 hours. I really don't know. Just a short flight though. I know that to get to Salt Lake, it's just a quick flight.
probably more than 10 hours. Okay.
All right.
Well, I think that's it.
Okay. Really. Fire. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody's getting a little
Oops.
scared about our stove. We get a lot of comments when I show our pellet stove in the yurt, and people say, "Oh, it's too close to the wall, and it's too close to this." And I'm like, "We read all the directions, and we've got everything in clearance, and it's
All the
actually
flashing
a
up.
pellet stove is very unique because it is not hot all around it.
Yeah,
it's
just the
just
front.
hot in the front." So, all right, everyone said, "Are you guys in Salt Lake often?" No, we're not. I've been
Yes,
there
it's
one
really
time.
fast.
Have a great weekend. I will. About 17 hours. Yeah. Di was saying, it's 4 a.m. here. I should probably get some sleep. All right. Utah is a day's drive. I knew my dad would know that. And that's what I was thinking.
All right.
Thank you
we'll
both. Looking forward to the next vid already.
we'll
It'll be out on Sunday next
See
week.
you guys on Sunday. And thank you guys for joining us on a live on Sunday morning or whatever time it is for you. And we will see you again next time.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Oh, TikTok.